This episode of Gamescast is brought to you by Tipsy Elves. Tipsy Elves, obviously, ugly Christmas sweaters. You know what's up. I'm wearing one right now. You can see this. He's half Santa, half horse. All fun. You need to show up to your Christmas. What? Santor. He's a Santor. I like that. I like that a lot. You can go to tipsyelves.com to check out all the different Christmas sweater designs. They're like nothing you've seen before, obviously. You got Santor right here. That's the best thing I've ever heard in my life, Kevin. Thank you. Their sweaters are all about fun. They're serious on quality and construction. I'm super warm right now. I don't know if you can see it, but I am. I'm feeling toasty. When you're shopping for your ugly sweater, check out the other holiday and collegiate attire yourself or as a gift. There's a bunch of adult onesies you can get all of your friends. There's also interactive sweaters, like beer pong sweaters and cornhole sweaters. How does that work? Check out the website and find out. You can go to tipsyelves.com and enter code TEETH at checkout to get your 20% site-wide discount. Again, it's tipsyelves.com using promo code TEETH.
I can't take credit for Santor. That is just the name of the sweater.
Okay.
God bless it.
And now let me tell you about Omaha Steaks. Are you looking for the perfect gift? Let me tell you what. For only $49.99, you can get a family gift pack when you go to omahasteaks.com and enter code GAMES in the search bar. That's 77% off. But why Omaha Steaks? Over 500 gourmet gift ideas and the highest quality cuts and ingredients, one-of-a-kind flavor, convenient quick shopping for those on your list, aged 21 days to unlock the full flavors of the cuts. They sent us these steaks. Greg Miller cooked them. We had a fantastic time. Kevin, what did you think about our meal that night?
I had so much meat that day.
Oh my God.
He made all of it at once. And
there was sausages, there was steaks, it was a meat-a-palooza.
Do you remember the pork chop?
Oh my God, the pork chop was amazing.
So good.
I love that. You saw us Instagramming and tweeting about it. It was such a good time for everybody. But right now, Omaha Steaks is giving an exclusive savings just for you guys. Listen to everything that you'll get for less than $50. 2 filet mignons, 2 top sirloins, 2 boneless pork chops, 4 boneless chicken breasts, 4 kielbasa sausages. That's how you say that. 4 burgers, 12-ounce package, all beef meatballs, 4 potatoes au gratin, 4 caramel apple tartlets, 1 Omaha Steak seasoning packet, plus get 4 additional kielbasa sausages free. Go to omahasteaks.com, enter code GAMES in the search bar, add the family gift pack to your cart and get a 77% savings. It's the gift guaranteed to be a hit. And man, that meal was good. I will never forget it.
Tim, now you were too full to try the dessert. The apple, is it apple turnover?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
It was good?
It was good.
You guys should try it. Let me know. Tweet at me. What's up, guys? Welcome to the first ever episode 96 of the Kind of Funny Gamescast. As always, I'm Tim Gettys, joined by the coolest dudes in video games, Alfredo Diaz?
No.
And Greg Miller.
He counts.
No, Alfredo.
Okay, one half of the coolest dudes in video games,
Sure.
Greg Miller. The other half, Colin Moriarty out there.
Living the life.
Living the life.
He's at the place right now that's on the back of the nickel.
He's in real America, the back of the nickel.
Yeah. There's a little fucking house on there, and he's outside of it right
You know
now.
what that place is?
No.
I didn't know either.
I
Aaron took a photo holding up it, and there's the house. I'm like, oh, all right. Huh?
I can't even remember the last time I've seen a
Hamilton's
nickel.
a musical, idiot.
Too busy making them dollars, know what I mean?
Hey!
No, but I just
We
don't know
squad up,
nickels.
never roll along.
That's what we do. But Alfredo Diaz, Alfredo plays himself, joining us once again. It's been a long time since you've been on the Gamescast.
On Gamescast, yeah. But I popped over and did some streaming on your guys' channel
You
lately.
just did some streaming stuff.
You done the extra life stuff?
I did Outlast.
You did Outlast, yeah. You did
terrifying.
you did the Titanfall review for us.
I
you
did.
the Titanfall coverage for us.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that.
Oh, it was fun.
Mm-hmm. How you been? What's been going on?
Good. I mean, this is my season right now. All these FPS games are out. You know what I mean? All the DLC for the games that I've been playing. So I've just been doing Patreon, and then I've also been doing just the streaming, and it's been great.
Good.
Yeah.
Well,
been
that's
fun.
exactly why we had you on this episode of the
And
show.
also for the sex appeal. Show the guns.
1 and 2.
What?
Show the guns.
Give him the ice cream scoop.
Yeah, look at him. Oh my God.
I love the show. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Kind of Funny Gamescast. Each and every week we get
Pops
together
out.
to talk about video games.
Nick, show Nick the guns.
Bring in the
There's
ice cream
no
scoops,
Come
Nick.
feel him, Nick.
It's
Come feel these
deflating.
ice cream scoops
All I
here.
do is sit and play games now. It's gone. What was there is now gone.
Look at that. You're telling me there's nothing. Look, it doesn't even
Python.
move. It doesn't
Nick,
move.
show him your Python. Do the Python.
Why is it bruised?
It's doing
What
it.
happened
It's
to
got.
you? Oh, okay. Jiu-jitsu.
You see a stretch mark because that's how you know you've been putting in work.
No, that's how you know you're fat when you're a kid.
Hashtag gains.
Stop it. Ow.
God, there's a lot going on. You gonna go? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Kevin.
Bye,
There'll be
Kev.
no switching today. Kevin is on a secret mission.
What's he going to
Anyways.
eat?
Man, first off, shout out to Steven Insler, our Patreon producer, 10,000 months in a row.
Right.
You are a fantastic human being, and we appreciate you a lot. I want to give a shout out to Super Smash Bros. Melee. 15 years ago,
Okay.
that game came out.
Wow.
Sweet baby Jesus.
A game that I wish I was decent at, but man, do I suck at that game.
Yeah, did you play Melee? You got into Brawl.
I got into Brawl and I was terrible, but that's when we all gathered at Curran's house for Thanksgiving and LAN partied, and then I would be on the high pedestal with Halo, and then we play Brawl and I would just be terrible, and I was like, man, I want to be good.
Let's go back to Halo.
Like all the cool
You know
kids.
there was something was bad when I would beat you at a video game.
Yeah, made no sense.
That's not okay.
We play Halo
At
team.
all.
It's
on the
depressing
bush.
because you said you 15 years ago for Melee. I was like, all right, yeah, I remember playing that in high school. I'm like, oh no, that was Smash Bros. 64. That was the original Smash Bros. I'm old. I'm
Oh,
an
wow.
old man.
Man, yeah, the original Smash Bros. I was elementary school. Melee was like that ripe, just getting into middle school.
Sure.
It was good. It was good.
You had that tight ass.
Yeah, puberty. Hair was growing in weird places.
Yeah.
It was nuts. Anyway, yeah, so shout out to Smash Bros. I also want to give an anti-shout out to the fact that I still haven't played Final Fantasy 15.
Boo.
It is currently, as of recording this, November 22nd. We are days away from this game being released.
Let me check my email.
Still don't believe
See
it.
if these people have come to their senses yet.
No.
But I'm just really sad because all I want is to play this game.
Well, the
I've
best news
waited
is you're
10
probably
years
you're
for it.
probably going to get it any day now.
Uh-huh.
And when that happens, Gia's going to get to watch with you.
Yeah, that'll be great.
That's the
She's
kind of
gonna
game
be
that I just
thrilled
want to.
about
I just want to
this.
sit back, relax, and watch.
And
someone
watch me
that.
play.
You know what I mean? It's like I watched you play Mario Galaxy.
Mario Galaxy, yeah.
That was awesome.
He
That
didn't
was
want-
way before Twitch was a thing. Before Let's Plays were really that big. I just sat.
It wasn't even a thing then.
Yeah,
yeah.
I just sat back and watched him play Mario.
That was his
nice.
live Let's Play.
Yeah.
Because Alfredo Diaz, I don't know if you know this about him, can't jump in games. He can do a lot of things. Once there's platforming involved,
It's terrible.
He's
I had
useless.
to have friends any platforming part like God of War. I had to have friends do it.
No wonder you
because
didn't
I
like the
just-
Titanfall single player
was
campaign.
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. All right, so going right into it, the first topic of the day is the 15th anniversary of the Xbox. So last week it is when it actually happened. It's also the 15th anniversary of the GameCube, but we need Colin to talk about that. Like I feel like it's only right. But I wanted to get you on this show so that we could talk about the Xbox because you're Mr. Xbox.
That was
Alfredo
that
Diaz.
was my life. That was my heritage. It was weird. I grew up all my friends and being like you guys were on the Nintendo, the GameCube, you had PlayStation. I had this weird path in video games. I had a Game Gear.
Yeah,
Then
you
I had a
did.
Sega Saturn.
Yeah.
Then the Dreamcast. Oh, the
Wow,
Dreamcast.
what a bad time to jump on. Wow.
And then I had the Xbox, and I always felt like the odd kid out.
Right.
You know what I mean? But boy, was the Xbox good. I liked it.
Xbox was ahead of its time in so many regards.
was.
They did so many interesting things. That Duke controller, though, but the breakaway cables.
yeah, the
okay, sure,
controllers-
that was hot. That was hot.
Step towards wireless.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It was horrible and ugly, but then it did have awesome stuff. I mean, Halo, obviously.
Yeah,
Star
Halo.
Wars,
But the
Knights of
thing
the
is,
Old Republic. Yeah.
I don't know. For me, back during that time, when it came to playing games with your friends, it was either split screen or you're on PC,
Sure.
at a cyber cafe playing CS. You know what I mean? And it was one of those things. I wasn't a PC gamer back then. I was all about consoles and handhelds.
You were smart back then.
Yeah, I was a smart kid. But then comes the Xbox. I was like, oh, I could just plug these two together, and all of a sudden, I don't have to put this cardboard between me and my brother, so that way he doesn't screen peek me and
Sure.
and blood gulch. It was
Game changer.
big to me.
Yeah. I mean, what's crazy about the Xbox, now you think about it as the Xbox just part of gaming. But when that came out, they were the new
Super
third guy.
underdogs. Yeah. Bill Gates
yeah.
giving interviews to Time Magazine and stuff. You're like, what the fuck? Why would you? And they're like,
just get out.
we
Just get
focus
out.
tested this with all these gamers and da 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 da. Like,
Yeah.
all right, whatever.
And I mean, that's the thing, though, is it's it was the first time that we saw, now this is kind of revisionist history, but a successful American game console developer, right?
Yeah.
We've had Nintendo, we've had PlayStation, and then Sega kind of fell out. But the new third was Xbox, which is this American thing, taking a very, very American stance with very American games. And it was going up against the PS2, which at that point was PlayStation, which meant JRPGs and third-person action games, and the Nintendo, which meant Nintendo games, right?
Right.
And then on the Xbox, it was just like that was really the ushering in of what the modern shooter is on a console. Like of course, there's the Counter Strikes and the Quakes and the Unreal Tournaments and stuff on.
I mean, GoldenEye, right? That was when you're using a stick and stuff.
Yeah, but it was the Xbox that really kind of brought in that dual stick shooter of what you
100%.
think when you're talking about Halo. You're talking about. I mean, a lot of PC ports happened on the Xbox, obviously because of Microsoft and stuff. But we saw the Counter Strike.
Yeah, I played Counter Strike.
I almost lost our friendship because of that game.
Counter-Strike. Tim would be like, yo, you want to hang out after, in high school? You'd be like, you want to hang out? We're like, nah, man, I got clan matches.
Yeah,
and
you do.
Boy, was that a good time. It was just like,
so much.
It was a whole new experience. You know what I mean? Like, I had my shooters. Of course, like, there was the times where I stepped away and I played non-shooters like Blinks or like Crimson Skies. Like, the only flying game I actually, like, love and cherish is Crimson Skies. And then I tried Shenmue. That was weird for me back at that time. Yeah, playing shooters and all of a sudden it's Shenmue. I'm like, what is this? What am I looking at? But
looking at sailors.
I just remember
looking for the man that killed my father.
I just remember watching, like, picking up my copy of OXM and then, being excited for my demo disc, and all of a sudden there's all these like ad campaigns for, you remember like that Dark Master ad where it was just like teaching you how to set up Xbox Live, and it was really cheesy and kind of really bad. But there was that whole like commercials and all that kind of stuff. And I remember setting up Xbox Live and I was playing like Mech Assault, and I was like, oh my God. I was really shy because I was a squeaker back then. You know what I mean? I was like,
high voice.
Yeah, high voice. Balls haven't dropped yet. And I remember using, because it was a common thing back then, the voice mask changer for Xbox Live, because I didn't want people to know that I was a squeaker. And then I'm over here playing this Mech Assault game, being super nervous talking to other kids while playing. I just had no idea who they were. And then all of a sudden, you just don't care because everyone tries to talk about your mom or something. It just was what it was. Yeah.
Man, it's such a funny time though, because again, not only was it just such a weird thing that Xbox was now all of a sudden a console, but even as it was happening, all the other gamers are like, "Get the fuck out of here, Xbox!"
Like, we have what we need. Nintendo versus Sega. Let's see how this plays out.
Exactly. I mean,
PlayStation's here. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Let's see what happens there.
Like killing it. Like at that. But once the PS2 came out, it's like Sony was a force.
Yeah.
They were totally in the thing. Like they had their own neck of the woods to play with. So with Xbox, it was like you're looking at this launch lineup and it's like, all right, cool, you had Halo and that was awesome. But I feel like if you weren't a hardcore Xbox gamer, everyone just kind of looked at it and it's like, Xbox only has Halo and KOTOR and Splinter Cell. And that's
Stubbs the zombie eventually.
Yeah.
And then there's a bunch of bullshit. There's the Blinks, there's the Stubbs, there's the all the Oddworld games, Jade Empire. But then it's like, man, I was looking back at just what games came out on Xbox. I'm like, man, it had a lot of exclusives that ranged in quality.
Lay 'em on me.
But we're talking the Jet Set Radio Future, which was very early title. I never really got into it. There was something about it that I wanted Tony Hawk, and it wasn't Tony Hawk, which is a me problem, not a them problem. But Chronicles of Riddick. I was like, fuck.
That was a good game.
That game was awesome.
Graphically amazing back during that time, too.
And that was the other thing about the Xbox is that it looked better than the other systems.
Yeah.
So it was like...
That was one of my very few arguments.
And it's like, so there was multiple third-party games that I would, like multi-platform games that I would play on Xbox just because it looked better. Like Prince of Persia, I played the entire trilogy on Xbox.
You son of a bitch.
Time Splitters, because it was a... shooting game. Like shooting games just felt at home on the Xbox.
Even though that controller was terrible.
I mean, that's the thing. Like the Duke was fucking horrible. The S controller
better.
The S controller was
better.
Good. That first one was
it was so bad.
Behemoth of a controller.
I mean, the whole system itself too was just so bulky.
And that was the problem with it, where when it came out, it was a joke. You know what I mean? I never adopted it, and it took a while. It wasn't until my sophomore year of college, which would have been 2002 into 2003, that I had a friend who had an Xbox, and like people who were coming on, they were freshmen, so like they were the year below us that for some reason it was clicking with. But I remember how big it was. Like the form factor didn't look good. It didn't seem sexy. It didn't seem like they knew what they were doing, which was when you're just looking at photos of it, was the knock ahead of time. And that was the thing of like, how do you understand how awesome Halo is unless you sit down and play Halo with other people?
And I mean, I think that to me was the definite moment. It was Halo, and I was late to the Xbox game, but I remember like I had a GameCube, I had a PS2, and I was totally invested in both of those. And it was Curran's now brother-in-law at the time, just sister's boyfriend, who was just like, you guys need to play Halo. Like, you're gonna love this game. It's like crazy, and it's a whole new like genre for you, really. Like this multiplayer, competitive arena deathmatch shooting game.
Yeah.
Where you can play with multiple Xboxes, and we're like 11, and we're like, I don't know. This sounds like the cyber cafe that we walk by all the time. And we're like, we don't do that. And eventually, Curran got an Xbox, and I was like, man, this Halo game is really cool. And then I got one, and we were able to hook them together. And I'm like, this is video games evolving. Like, you always talk about Metal Gear Solid as being a moment where you're like, holy shit, games can be so much more than I thought.
Yeah.
And that for us was, again, it wasn't like there was so many people that had their eyes opened years before this, but for us, it was Halo of just like multiplayer gaming can be so much more than Mario Party. Or even more than GoldenEye. Like, there was something to it, like the team-based things and like being able to play with not just 2 players, 16 players, being at Curran's house and having split screen, but you're playing capture the flag across 2 different rooms. And it's just like, there's something about that was like, fuck, there's something here.
And that
really
was the,
special.
I mean, we talk about, you know, our age differences and stuff. And I feel like for me, that was the hurdle and a bridge too far of reading about that in EGM and seeing it in pictures or whatever, but then being like, in Illinois, and then even into my, you know, freshman year or whatever, I'm the hardest hardcore gamer I know. Poe is not going to buy an Xbox, and then are we going to get everybody together? And even if we did, we're going to drag TVs together and do this. Could you're a dumb kid? You're like, could the power work? Would the power blow a fuse or whatever? And and you don't. I mean, I always tell a story about when Poe and I were playing NCAA on PS2 when he brought his PS2 over and I brought a TV downstairs. It's not hard. It wasn't hard, but like for some reason, that was the hurdle of like, that's fine, but I'm fine playing split screen GoldenEye when my friends want to play something multiplayer. Yeah,
it's so funny, and you're right. It is just like we were just that right age, like us being 11 to 13. It was just like the idea of, hey, here's this giant, the biggest console that's ever existed. You're gonna lug that thing across cities to go to your friend's house so that all of our Xboxes in one place. And we did that shit though. You know, it was worth it because it got us to where we needed to go.
The time I knew something was different outside of just EGM and even then I guess an IGN, you know, a GameSpot or whatever when I'm reading stuff online, was we were having an antler party sophomore year and a house party and everybody's getting drunk and hanging out and having a great time. And somebody finally, like the new kids, the new class were like, blah, blah, blah. And then in a blink of an eye, they were all gone. And I was like, where did all these guys go? And they're like, oh, I think it was Kyle Perry's doing a LAN party or whatever. I was like, a what now? And they're all playing Halo over there. I'm like, what? Like, well, how did I not know they were into this? It's because they weren't into, let's play Wind Waker and talk about this. And because, you know, me and my friends are playing, or the other guys are playing, you know, GameCube stuff together, multiplayer that way, or me slinking off to go play Prince of Persia or something like that. They weren't into those games, but they were into first-person shooting. Let's all go, you know, do capture the flag till the end of the night. Yeah, man. And then there was that next kind of level where after the initial launch titles and the Halo thing, they got into the Xbox Live. Which was Dreamcast had the online, but I think Xbox Live was really the beginning of where we're at now.
Dude, it was a great time. Like going even back before that though, just from my like experiences with Halo, it's way different from yours because I remember I went with my uncle and we went. This is like the Mission of San Francisco, so it's kind of ghetto.
But this was back when the Mission was like a scary place, not a hipster cool place.
Yeah, it's very hipster now. But I remember going there and going to his friend's house, and like his friends were like the guys that stood on the stoop and hung out all day. And I went in and everyone's drinking and stuff. I'm like, oh God, this is weird. And then they're all playing Halo, and I sat down and I started, like, it just connected with me and I loved it. And then I remember playing that, and that was my experience with like Halo and multiplayer, right? And then you connect it to the LAN. I remember just seeing everyone's name pop up, right? Like, you know, you'd have Yuri Krakakash back then. And we'd make our own names, and our armor would be pink sometimes. And like, I was like, wow, this is amazing seeing everyone pile into the lobby. And then came like Xbox Live and being able to take that to a whole new level. And that's when I discovered clans, competitive gaming. And I remember because I was doing Counter-Strike and then
on Xbox
because I had like some really crappy computer back then, although I did try Wolfenstein and it failed. Eventually I did try CS on that exact same computer. I took my grandma's credit card and charged it without telling her anything.
Ooh, Alfredo.
And then the CS didn't even work on my computer.
Oh, CS didn't work.
It did not work.
Damn.
Yeah, I was back during that day. But I remember playing Counter-Strike on the Xbox, and I was pretty good at it. And this guy's like, yo, man, do you want to like join our team and like play against other teams? And then I was nervous. I was like, all right.
Game GameBattles.com.
I think it was, yeah, it might have been something like a different site, but I think it might have been like super early Game Battles. But I remember setting that up. And back during that time, if you wanted to like talk with other players, I remember you had to like, or even read a message, you had to exit out of the game to look at the message, or you all had to pile into the Xbox dashboard and close the game out for everyone to be in there talking to each other. And that's where we set up the rules and the regulations and like, all right, what map, who's picking what first, and that's where all the fights happened too. And yeah, it was good times.
I mean, well, that's the thing, like with Halo 2 matchmaking. Like that's just such a thing that we take for granted now. Just like, oh yeah, like matchmaking is a thing. But like back then, it was like, whoa, there's like a system to make sure that you're linked with other players to play shoddy. What was it, shoddy snipers?
Shoddy snipers.
Like that's it's like, damn man, that shit was so next level.
It was amazing because I played Halo with you guys, right? And it was one of those things that Kurt and I were like the best Halo players. And then you step into this realm where you're playing kids from all over the place, right? And it changed the game. Like there was so many different play styles and angles that I didn't even know about before. I didn't play shoddy snipers until that time. And then here came this revolutionary like ranking system that they brought out.
Oh yeah, the level 50 shit.
Yeah, and that was just like, whoa, like I'm over here like this is a video game, but now I'm sweating. Like this is awesome.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
So going off of Halo though, so Fable, Mech Assault,
Oh man, Fable.
Ninja Gaiden. Like that, Ninja Gaiden was one of those games where it was just like
it was looked so beautiful, and I played it, but it was so difficult.
But that was like one of the Xbox touchstones of like they were trying to not just be the Michael Bay of video games, and like trying to here's a franchise, let's bring it back, and like the Xbox is here to stay. You know. Dead or Alive 3, like Dead or Alive obviously had been around before, but I really associate Dead or Alive with Xbox because of that game. And obviously beach volleyball.
I was about to say I played beach volleyball. I actually probably spent a couple 100 hours of beach volleyball. I got really invested into the outfits.
Oh yeah, you would.
I mean? Sure,
that's a Alfredo ass move. Panzer Dragoon Orta, not as good as Saga, but it was fantastic. Steel Battalion.
That fucking thing.
Ooh,
that
the controller?
Yeah. God
damn.
It
was a whole that was expensive too. That was way too expensive for me back during that time.
I mean, that's the thing is I remember reading about like that was one of those like the magazine things where you would always look at the updates of it and you're just like, I can't believe that's a real thing.
This is a real thing that's happening.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And Brendan and I, you had it.
Of course. Yeah. It's weird to meet the people who did have that randomly had Steel Battalion. Like, oh, wow. Okay.
Like, you're fucking insane. And now we have VR. It's just like such a next level. Brute Force.
I played the hell out of that game, but that game is terrible.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be so good though, because back then I was always looking for a reason to be like, we've got this game on Xbox. And I wanted that to be one of those games.
It was supposed to be. I mean, that's the problem is Brute Force is one of the best stories of overhyped, like just really fucking up everything because that game was supposed to be the Xbox fuck you to everyone else.
Yep.
And then it just wasn't good.
No.
Like, I remember when the demo came out and that was when everyone's like, uh-oh. Like,
it was really bad. Even before then, though, I was like, I bought into the hype. I was like, oh my god, this like ragtag trio of characters, and one's kind of an alligator, and I was like, oh my goodness, there's so much personality.
I'm waiting for a game with an alligator.
Kind of an alligator.
I was looking at that time for like characters because you guys had like like especially with like Nintendo and so many iconic characters.
You wanted a mascot.
Yeah, I wanted someone more than the chief.
That was the thing, man, of like when Dreamcast drops off and PlayStation's rising and Nintendo's like muddling along.
Nintendo.
It was that thing of there was no clear, here's the new console arms race. Here's who it's going to be. This is who it is. Because Mario Sonic is the iconic one. And then from there on out, it got weird. When there finally was a winner, it was very much like, well, what happens next? And then Chief obviously, rose in prominence.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because like looking at this list, it kind of, I mean, like going on, there's like obviously Blinks the Time Cat, Stubbs the Zombie. There was a lot of just exclusives.
Yeah, Stubbs.
Conquer Live and Reloaded eventually came out, which was a really weird thing. Project Gotham Racing.
The only racing game that I played the hell out of. And it was great because it was like, I don't know. It was realistic, but kind of arcadey at the same time. So it was like the perfect balance. Because then, like I remember playing Need for Speed Underground.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, the music and everything. And I was like, all right, this is fun. And then I go to like Gran Turismo. I'm like, No,
Too much.
too real,
Too
Really
real.
back. Project Gotham was like that.
The nice little
perfect
middle ground.
balance.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was saying. Like there was a lot of multi-platform games that I just kind of went over on Xbox.
Ferrari.
Like, and I think it's just because we happen to have that version. So like I associate Fight Night with Xbox.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. It's probably I think it was available on everything.
It was,
but
yeah.
but Fight Night was such an Xbox game to me.
That game looked good.
It did, and Fight Night's one of those things that like, all right, here's a sports game that is going to have mainstream appeal. Like, mainstream to people that aren't sports guys, like mainstream gamer appeal, which I guess didn't exist back. It's a whole thing. But like Fight Night, did you play Fight Night at all?
Yeah. Not on Xbox, but yeah, I played Fight Night. But that's how that was the reach of Fight Night, where I was like, here's a really great boxing game. Like, I don't watch boxing. I've never given a shit about boxing, but this is a cool
fun.
game. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the other thing, too. That is a game that you're like, holy shit. This looks fantastic.
Yeah, it was a good party game too, because then you're just like, all right, you have your Halo and you get exhausted on that, or and then all of a sudden you bring in like Fight Night and you just have your friends just in the corner 1v1 each other.
And that was the thing, right? There was a fun factor to that of being able to drop in, and it wasn't the Xbox version, but I remember at IGN when one of the final Fight Nights, or the final Fight Nights that mattered, came around, where we did like a giant office tournament that wasn't for like a video series. It was just us fucking around because everybody wanted to play it.
Man. And then Rainbow Six 3.
Ooh, Rainbow Six. That was. I want to talk more about the current state of Rainbow, but
that'll come next
that'll
topic.
come like later. But no, Rainbow Six was great, and it was one of those games where it was a hardcore tactical shooter, right? So, but it wasn't to the point where it was Counter-Strike. It was easily accessible for console players, as opposed to like CS, which was that was a very, very difficult shooter, especially on a controller. And then you had Halo, which was kind of just fun, and then came Rainbow, which is like in between. And it was great because I remember for me, like even though I did clan matches, Rainbow was when I was very tactical with my friends, and it was like we have these intense strats and we're attacking multiplayer in a specific way, and I felt like an operative. It was cool.
Well, I think the real source for that, for me, understanding how crazy you are when it comes to these strategies and like working with people, was Splinter Cell.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Splinter Cell for me, I love Splinter Cell's multiplayer so much, and I feel like it's so underrated in terms of like just what it is, but I also think it's because it's so difficult. Just because like here's a game that does really well, and that is like I just remember being really competitive and pretty far balanced in terms of like having first person versus third person, and they made that work. And you really felt like, because when it came to like shooters, sure you had like your power ups and stuff like that, but here you had two different characters with different abilities. And to me, it blew my mind that like you had your spies, or they could be anywhere. Then you all of a sudden you have like your merc who had motion sensors, so if anything moved you can see. But then they had gadgets where if you were a merc, right, and I came just trying to
help.
Yeah, if you were a merc and you came and smacked me as a spy, you could like talk to me while I'm on the ground passed out. Or if I had a spy camera and I shot it next to you and you're a merc, I could listen in on everything you were saying to your teammate. And I was like, that's
a cool idea.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So Tom, the Splinter Cell, I remember being on the outside. That was the first game I remember being like, oof, I wish that had come over. I wish we had that. And I think it's because I didn't give KOTOR too much time of day, because that beat. Doesn't remember KOTOR before Splinter Cell or Splinter Cell before?
I feel like
KOTOR?
it must have been before.
I think it was before.
I thought so too.
Yeah, but I mean, the reason that Splinter Cell was appealing to you is because everyone's
Gear.
like, it's better than Metal Gear.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the new age of Metal Gear. And it's just like, this is interesting. And the game was great. And then the second one added the multiplayer, right?
Yeah.
It was the second one. There was Splinter Cell, and then Pandora Tomorrow.
And then Pandora
Chaos
Tomorrow
3.
added Spies versus Mercs. Yeah, for sure.
And that was another game I lost you to. Like, you were just so deep down in that multiplayer.
That was during the days where like leaderboards were a super big thing.
Relevant.
Yeah, super relevant. And that's when like I was like, oh, top like 7 on leaderboard for Counter-Strike, and
Yeah.
like top. I was the #1 spy on that one. I was gone, man.
Yeah,
I was
good
like, I'm
lord.
just gonna keep going at it because
Did
it
you
was,
go get the
it was a
Kodak
blast.
wind-up camera and
Oh,
take
I-
a photo?
I
of
totally
the TV
did.
Screen?
I
Fuck yeah,
totally
you
did.
did.
My lord.
And I had nowhere else to post it, so I just had that with me.
But what I really enjoy about this topic is looking back on Xbox, I'm like, I actually think way more fondly of that console than I thought that I did. And it's the same thing like looking back on PlayStation. Like, it's like now that PlayStation's existed for 20 years, it's like, damn, they've really had a lot of hits.
Yeah.
They have characters. They have what Nintendo has. And you would have never thought about it until you stop and think about it.
Sure.
And it's like with Xbox, I feel like now thanks to 360 and the Xbox One that we're going to look in a couple of years, look back and be like, oh man, no, Xbox has a lineage. Like there is already there's a history. Like it might not be characters, but they have Xbox Live. You know, they have all these like the LAN party and like they changed things in a way that we're going to remember that forever.
Yeah. Yeah. Same thing like we'll look back with Ouya. That's the thing, right? Is that these new platforms come around and it's so hard to enter a space that's so established. And we did it with PlayStation where I was like, I'm not going to give PlayStation the time of day until years. It's like, all right, they're committed to it. It's a real thing. There's great games. And Xbox is the same way of like, yeah, you know, eventually my roommate Parker moved into the Antler house and he had it. And I'd go over and sit in front of his and play Jade Empire. And then like eventually I went and bought my own and I caught up on Star Wars and I caught up on this and I got Stubbs the Zombie, which was amazing.
See, I was a young kid, so I just went with whatever my parents gave me. So
Sure.
I felt the heartbreak of falling in love with Dreamcast.
Yeah.
And then just
Watching
having
it
that die in front of me.
Yeah.
It's depressing.